Today I'm going to show you a massive haul that involves Lord of the Rings. Let's get those finds. And that's all right there. I just picked up these 3 PS4 controllers. I did tell them, like, they might not work or whatever. They are a little rough. I'm going to test them for sure. I do need some controllers to bundle with a PS4, so that's mainly the reason why I picked them up. So hopefully we find more stuff. And if you do, you'll see it right after this. Alright guys, I didn't want to record because this was someone's house and they invited me, so I didn't. But I did pick up this Super Nintendo Junior and also, of course, Batman Forever box. And I think there's a Super Nintendo game, Rocko's Modern Life. So the Super Nintendo Junior, I did pay up. I paid $80. The reason I paid $80 is because this is not for resale. This is going to be for my collection. I used to have a Junior and I ended up selling it, and I regretted it because, I mean, the Junior is such a nice looking console. So that's going to go to my collection. So $80 for that with the 2 controllers and the cables, not bad. He valued this, I think, at $20, and it actually goes for $30. So that was cool. This is also going to the collection. And then Batman Forever, the box, he said $10. It has the inserts in it. So for everything together, $110. Not bad because, again, this is going to go for my collection. This is not for resale. So I normally wouldn't show something like this, again, because it's not for resale. But I wanted to show you guys because I'm super excited to have my Junior back. Let me know if I missed anything. And that's it right there. I just picked up this box of gamed books and other random stuff for $24. Not a bad deal. I'm hoping the book sets end up being a little bit more valuable. And this thing's pretty cool. It lights up, so hopefully it ends up being a good value. Anyways, guys, next sale. And that's all right there. I just picked up some motorcycle stuff. This is the first time I'm actually dealing with it. This helmet looked in very good condition. That's the only reason I got it. With some gloves, goggles, and then this American Girl doll horse. I think this alone goes for $30, so I should be okay for $55. But next sale, guys. And that's all right there. I just picked up this old school Game Boy for basically $5. They tried to test it on spot and it didn't power on, so that's the reason why I did $5. And then I have a major pickup. All right, so in the same sale I got this Game Boy, I have a massive collection of swords from Lord of the Rings. I want to show you guys. And when I first saw them, I thought they were plastic, but no, these are not plastic. So I did have to pay up. I'm gonna tell you in the video, in the pickup recap, how much I paid, and I'm also going to showcase them. But I think this should be a good deal if my math in my head makes sense. But just the Game Boy Red, I think that was a good deal too, because $5. It didn't turn on. It looked like it had battery corrosion. I'm going to try to revive it at home. If I can't get it, then I'll just try to sell it as parts. But hopefully this ends up being a good pickup, and I can't wait to show you guys. Those swords are awesome. And that sale over there is kind of hard to see because there's cars blocking it. I did pick up some PlayStation 4 games, some collector's editions. So I paid $40 for here, and then they brought out a 2DS, which I'll show you in the pickup recap. This was $20, so I thought that was pretty good. Anyways, guys, see you guys in the pickup recap. Alright guys, so it's been a pretty busy morning. I actually did a lot of big spending, so I'm gonna cut it short today. I definitely found some awesome stuff. I'm hoping, especially the Lord of the Rings swords that you will see in the pickup recap, I hope those end up being very good. But I did spend up a lot of money, so hopefully this ends up being a good flip, and can't wait to show you guys. And I'm gonna combine Friday and Saturday again because Friday was a little slow. So between Friday and Saturday, we should have a lot of pickups to go through. So let's get to it. So this video is going to be a sum up of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday garage sale pickups. The reason I allotted them all up is because I didn't find very much on Friday and I didn't find very much on Sunday. So I kind of just jumbled it all up together and wanted to showcase it. So I'm going to start with Sunday because Sunday was like the worst stuff. And obviously on the Saturday where I got the Lord of the Rings items, which I'm going to go more. Can't wait to show you guys, man. But Before I start the video, make sure you thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. It really means a lot. It would help me tremendously if you did that. On Sunday, I only went to 2 yard sales. On one of them, I actually bought some action figures. I kind of regretted buying them, but I wanted to get something. And don't do this when you're out there. Don't feel like you have to buy something, because more than not, it might be a bad buy if you force yourself to buy something, right? So I did buy this, but it turned out 2 of the toys actually ended up working with the batteries. So I already tested them, they're relisted. So for the whole lot, I paid $9. I thought that was fair. One action figure will give me my money back, and the rest will be profit, hopefully. If you recall, last week or the week before, I posted a SNES bundle I picked up on one of these live garage sale video pickups. And the lady was hosting another yard sale, and she had told me when I left, you know, she might have more video game stuff and that they were all packed up. So I wanted to check and see with her and see if she found them or anything. So unfortunately, she didn't find them. This was the last garage sale she's gonna have, she said. So I did leave my business card. That's actually a pro tip. If you have a business card, there's still like a 90% chance they're not going to contact you, but with a business card, it seems more official. So it might be a little higher chance for them to call you back. But I gave her that, and then I ended up buying like a Halloween bundle lot. Now the only reason I really did this is just to show her, you know, I'm still buying stuff. The total came up to $6, but I gave her $10. It was like a fundraiser event that she was doing, and she was very thankful for that. And then she said, you know, if I end up finding anything or out of the boxes that I was telling you about, the video game stuff, I'll definitely hit you up. Hopefully that ends up working out. More than likely, I'll probably never hear from her again, but you never know. So how my Friday started up was I found a lot of 3 PS4 controllers for $5. They were out at the sale. This lady was making a huge pile of shoes and clothes and ignoring the PS4 controllers, so I swooped them up. I looked at them, they're a little beat up. I went up to the guy, asked them if there was any of the video game stuff. They said their son was still sleeping, but it was mostly PS4 and that there wasn't very many. So I decided to pass on that. Asked, you know, how much he wanted for the controllers. He said, you know, make me an offer. I told him, you know, they were a little rough, so the best I could probably do is, you know, 5 to 10, thinking they were gonna say 10, but they said 5 was fine. So I only ended up paying 5. If these end up working, pretty nice flip. I'm definitely gonna make my money back on that. I stumbled upon a street sale. They had some clothing and some plushes, so I ended up picking just the Lilo and Stitch items here. I only paid $8 for them, so I think if I end up selling the plush, that's my money back, and then the sweater will be a little bit of profit. The best pickup I had for Friday was the Super Nintendo Junior. Did pay close to retail for it. The guy was a reseller. He was moving and trying to liquidate some of his stuff. He was pretty firm on his prices. Did originally have a Super Nintendo in the lot, plus the Junior, but I removed the Super Nintendo because he wasn't really budging, and it was yellow too, so I didn't want to mess with it. Yellowed consoles can be fixed with some lighting solutions, but I haven't delved in that yet, so I just decided to pass. In the future, if I end up getting a surplus of yellowed consoles, I will dive into that. The total I paid for the Super Nintendo Junior and a Super Nintendo game and a box for a game, I only ended up paying $110. So I did get Batman, I did get Rocko's Modern Life, and the Super Nintendo Junior for $110, which I thought was a fair deal. Normally on eBay you can get Super Nintendo Junior shipped for about $110, so I would call this a success. And the Super Nintendo Junior is not going to get resold. It's just going to go straight into my collection, because I used to have a Super Nintendo Junior and I unfortunately sold mine. So I regretted it instantly when I sold it, and I'm super happy to have it back. It's in overall good shape too. Definitely gonna go in my collection, along with the Rocko's Modern Life and the box. Sometimes you gotta buy for the collection, you know? Now for the Saturday pickups, and overall this Saturday pickups were the best pickups out of all of them. First and foremost, don't sleep on books. So I went to a sale. She had a bunch of books, toys, baby toys, and you know, I asked her how much for the book. She said 25 cents. So when they say a quarter, at least try to get $4 to make it $1, right? So I went and made a little pile of books, and one of them ended up surprising me, and I'm glad I actually bought this. So for $1 I bought all these books, but one of them, which is the Villains book, this one goes for about $20 on eBay and a little more on Amazon. So I decided to pick that up. At the time of purchasing, I didn't know this. I just thought $1 was cheap, so I wanted to pick up stuff that looked cool and interesting. Unfortunately, the other books aren't very good. Second to last sale. This is probably one of the better sales I hit up on Saturday, and I was super glad I stumbled upon it. They actually advertised video game stuff, but I didn't see very many people, and I got there an hour late, and all this stuff was still there. I thought maybe the guy was a little bit expensive or something, because I mean, I didn't know why people didn't go to this sale, because I mean, it was advertised, right? But I mean, the guy's prices were kind of fair. I mean, he was asking, you know, $5 a pop for the PS4 games, but he had a deal. If you bought 5, then they were 20. So that's about $4 each. I decided to make a pile. There was some Blu Rays there too. 3D Blu Rays sometimes tend to do pretty well. So I threw one of them in there because it was a combo disc. I threw some PS4 games, some collector's editions, which are actually going to go in my collection, some of these. I saw a camera. The camera was super cheap. It was like $2. And then as I was walking around the sale, I saw some cookie jars, and I normally don't dive into this stuff, but it was super cheap, guys. For both of the cookie jars, it was just $1. So I decided to take a risk on that as well. And as I was asking him for the bundle deal, I also asked if he had any other video game stuff inside. He said, actually, you know, I do have a 2DS with Mario Kart 7 installed. And before he brought it out, he's like, you know, I'm thinking about $20. Is that okay with you? And I said, yeah, that was fine. He brought it out, case, everything looks very nice. So I decided to make a bundle deal for everything. So for everything that you saw in the overview, I paid $63. I thought that was very fair. If I just sell the 2DS, I'm already in the profit, and everything will also be gravy. So, and I am keeping some of the PS4 games with the sleeves. I'm very picky with PS4. It has to be 100% complete for me to keep it, because I mean, it is not, I mean, it's not current generation, but it is not that old either. So I figure I could find cheaper deals out in the wild. So I was super picky with that. Everything else I'm selling. Actually, as of this recording, I already sold Resident Evil for I think $15. So I'm already in the profit, I think, in that. The camera I haven't tested yet. If it ends up working though, it's like $100 and something. So hopefully that ends up working, because it comes with the charger and the case. And so that goes to show you, I mean, that was a $2 camera. If it ends up working, that's going to be a great profit. And then we were at the last sale. So the last sale was the best sale out of them all. Walking into it, I wasn't expecting this. Let me tell you the whole story. So this was advertised on Facebook Marketplace garage sale. They had a picture of a sword. It was actually Legolas swords. And Legolas is obviously a Lord of the Rings character. But from the pictures, I couldn't tell if they were like metal or plastic. So I, in my mindset, thought, you know, they were plastic. So when I got there, I asked, you know, are the swords still available? She said yes. And she said she had more. So she showed me all of them. And I was just overwhelmed, especially when I lifted them. When I lifted them, I'm like, oh wow, these are actually, you know, replicas. And they're actually replicas by United Cutlery. They made a series of that, of Lord of the Rings swords, and also The Hobbit. I was super excited, and you know, I asked her, you know, how much would you do for all of them? Here's where it got a little bit weird. So she wanted $250. I was just like, at the time, I mean, I wasn't aware of the value. I mean, I knew they had some value. I just didn't know how much I can get for them. But the Legolas ones, I had an idea of maybe I could do 40 to 60. He's a very popular character. So I was like, you know, maybe I can get 40 to 60 for those. But the other ones, I don't know. They look like they're expensive to ship, etc., etc., etc. So I did not feel comfortable paying $250. Again, knowing what I know now, I would have paid her price, but I didn't know. So I mean, when you don't know something, you have to have room to wiggle, right? So I threw out an offer of $150. She thought about it, she hemmed and hawed, and then her boyfriend was on my side. He was like, oh, we're moving. If you asked me, I would have sold them all for $100. And right when he said that, she said, you know what, $150 is fine. I was like, yes. I loaded them all in my car. As I was loading them, I asked them, you know, you guys have any video game stuff? No, we don't. I was like, okay. It would be cool to find something, you know, and they asked me why. I was like, oh, I like collecting. I have some video game collection. And they're like, you know what, we actually do have this old Game Boy Color. Now, when they said Game Boy Color, I was assuming, you know, the typical Game Boy Color. No. So the Game Boy they were actually talking about was this red one. It's an OG Game Boy. I asked them, you know, how much would you want for it? They said, you know, these go for a lot of money, blah, 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 blah. I was like, yeah, if they work. Sometimes they're worth, you know, some amount of money if they work. And they decided to test it before they threw out a dollar amount. So they put in batteries, and it actually didn't power on. When I was putting in the batteries for them, to see if it worked. I saw some corrosion in the battery compartment. I was like, oh, okay, this is probably not gonna work. So it went in my favor. You know, how much would you want to be willing to pay? I said I can probably at best do $5 to $10, because I mean, I don't know if it's gonna end up working. I could try to fix it, but if it doesn't end up working, then it's just gonna be a complete loss. And they took it. They said $5 was fine. So I ended up picking that up. Now after testing it, I have tested it. But it does power it on after cleaning it, but the sound doesn't work, and then the start and select buttons don't work. So I'm gonna probably end up selling this as is with issues for like, I'm gonna try to get 30 for it. I'm actually trying to track this buy. So again, I paid $155 for everything, including the Game Boy. And if I end up selling everything, including the Game Boy, for the price I'm asking, the total amount I'm gonna make back is $1,164. So that's 100% okay with me. That is an amazing find. And it is really true what they say. You can't get scared by higher priced items, because a lot of times they are winners, they are bangers. And from here on out, I'm going to be, you know, looking things from a different perspective. And with this amount of money, and yes, you can say, Grimsy, this isn't video game stuff. This, I would have passed on that. It's going to be super hard to ship, yada, yada, yada. I 100% agree with you about the shipping part. But, you know, if I look at it, one of these swords is worth like $200, $200+. Is 30 minutes of packing worth $200 to me? Yes, it is, 100%. So I will 100% do that. And I think that might be why these were still there, is because a lot of people pass on stuff that's a little bit harder to pack and deal with, because they don't feel like it's worth it. And this is where you can take advantage of it. If you find something like this, buy it, because this money now that I make from it, the profit, I'm going to be using to buy maybe a video game collection in the future, or, you know, another big buy that I can make a bunch more money on, right? So you can't pass these stuff up. And I mean, had this been me from 7 years ago, I would have not even bothered picking that up. So I've definitely learned a lot in the months I've been doing this, since I've been doing this full time, and I am super happy and stoked to pick this up. And of course I took a picture. I had to take a picture with at least one of the swords, right? So I took a picture with one of the swords. I thought it was very fun. If I had the room, I would maybe have kept the Legolas one and maybe a couple other ones, but I do not have the room to display this anywhere on my walls. If you've seen my death pile video where it says I'm a hoarder on the thumbnail, I do not have room for any of this, guys. I do not even in my actual room. I have posters everywhere. I don't have room for any of this stuff, or otherwise I would have maybe kept one or two. And actually, as of the recording of this video, I've already sold 3 swords, and this has already put me in the profit from this buy. So I'm super excited. I can't wait to follow this buy and hopefully end up making the expected amount. But more than likely, I'll probably make a little less, because I mean, you know, people, you have to send, if you might send an offer, or people might send you an offer, you might take it. You have to put that all into consideration. But overall, I am completely ecstatic for this pickup. This weekend was a very successful weekend. And again, there wasn't very many video game stuff, but you have to broaden your scope sometimes to get good deals, and they are out there. You just have to look for them. Anyways, guys, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you for watching. Remember to comment, like, and subscribe for more videos, and follow my Instagram at GrimsyRaider. Thanks for watching, and we'll see what I find next. Thanks, guys. Remember to comment, like, and subscribe, and maybe watch one of these videos right here. Maybe this one or this one. Thanks, guys.